What's going on, people? I'm just out here reflecting, thinking to myself, you know, just getting through a long day. A lot going on, but you got to go through life struggles. With the life struggles, it led me to thinking, why do we fail? You know, yeah, Linden, good question, right? I have an answer. It's like riding a bicycle, you know. A lot of times we have to learn to fall down and, to get our balance, you know. Because if you don't fall off the bike and get back up and actually, learn to balance yourself, how do you know what you can take? How do you know who you are? Why do we fail? We fail, a lot of times to learn who we are, to learn what we can take. Exactly, Linden. Our failures make our life's path and our strength. They expose us, they tell us who we really are, whether or not we're prepared for certain things, whether or not we're pretending, if we're really ready for it. Exactly, Michael Skeen. It depends on the path that you're going, But our failures, they reveal our character. They reveal our strengths, our weaknesses. They reveal who we really are. They tell a lot about us, They indicate who we've become, how far we need to go. These are things that really move and shape us in different ways. It's important to see ourselves a lot of different times. And, what's going on, Lunatic Dad? I appreciate you for coming through to the live stream, Yeah, what's going on, Size Dad? We would fail because we try, and that's how we grow. Exactly. Failures help us to grow. Sometimes we learn from life situations, as Michael Skeen said. This is all true. This is all true. But our failures teach us a lot more about ourselves than our successes do. Anybody can deal with success. Anybody can deal with money. Anybody can deal with fame. Anybody can, at least receive it. Not everybody probably can deal with it, but anybody can, take it on. If I gave you $1 million tonight, that's not a hard call. You would take that $1 million. But the harder thing would be, losing it. How do you deal with that? Positive mind breeds positive results. I agree with Lunatic Dad. I agree. It can. But what do you do when the negativity comes to you? What do you do when, things are coming at you all kind of ways and it's not working out your way? Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. See, it's easy for anybody to experience a great day. You know what I mean? We have to make goals in our direction to avoid failures. No, I don't say we need to avoid failure. I think it's like the Michael Jordan commercial. When he came out and he was like, I failed over and over. 26 times I was held upon to take the last shot and I missed. I failed over and over, each time. You learn from your failures. Your failures teach you, how to come back again the next time and regroup, re-strategize. Your failures can teach you, where you need to tweak things. The way people criticize you, the way people try to bring you down, your faults, your flaws. Sometimes a person, when they bring you down and they try to point out things that are wrong with you, sometimes they're doing you a favor. They're handing you a gift. Because think about it. If everybody always told you what you wanted to hear, what would you learn? Think about it, What's going on, Mara? Soul, you changed your name all the way. Failures can sometimes teach your failures can get you back up and try again. Well, as the song goes, I think Aaliyah said it, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try it again. You block it out and believe in yourself and learn from your past and don't bring your past to your future. I agree with you, Lunatic Dad. That's something that definitely is a must, is a plus. You don't want to bring it to your forefront. You don't want to bring it out there like that. But what happens is, the reality is that sometimes our past creeps up into our present, into our future. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes we do fall off the wagon. Sometimes we're not the best. Sometimes we do have, insecurities and vices and sins and things that come. So the question is, what do you do? What do you do with it? What do you do when you fail? How do you take failure? Why do we fail? And I believe we fail because we learn our character. We have to learn from ourselves. Without failure, we don't understand the balance, the balance between failure and success. Thank you, Size, that I appreciate that. There's a balance that we need to know. If you're constantly winning and winning and winning and winning and winning, and you don't understand what it's like to lose things, and you don't understand what it's like to fall down, sometimes that first failure could hurt you. Sometimes when you have to go through the process of failing and losing and building up and regrouping, that can make you stronger. Exactly. Well, hey, Lynn, you got to do what you got to do. I've learned more sometimes from my failures than I have from my successes, which I appreciate my successes. I agree for my faith in the Lord and His grand plan for me. There's nothing wrong with that. I agree. But listen, I tell you what they say. The saying goes, God will never put more on you than you can handle, And also, too, the failures come. God allows failures and things like that to come into our life. We have to be tested. There's things that is said, it is written, trials and tribulations will come. I thank God for showing me what I am and what I'm not. You will teach me how to be more like Him. Exactly. Amen. You learn from your failures. When one door closes, another will open. I agree, Michael Skeen. But I think with people, they have to learn to look at failure in different ways. Don't always look at failures in a negative light. Don't always look at failures as the end of things. Don't look at it as, it's just a rejection or somebody smacking you down. Sometimes these things happen because we have to be redirected. Sometimes these things happen because maybe we're a little too full of ourselves and you got a little too much pride going on. I'm not saying failure is the end all, the be all. Sometimes these are self-inflicted wounds and things like that may happen, but it's like that it happens. Listen, God has a plan for us all if you're willing to listen. Not to get too religious or anything like that, but when it comes to failure, just for the sake of this conversation, I challenge you to look at it differently. I challenge you to learn from failure just as much as you learn from your successes. I challenge you to challenge yourself, not to see every rejection as a downfall. I grew up with a very poor family, and I swore to myself I would never go back. I had to put something to build in that character. I hear you, lunatic dad. There's nothing wrong with that. But within that character, you learn how to deal with the trials and tribulations and stuff like that. Because these things come, these things happen, especially if you got kids out there. You got the youth, you allow the youth to see that not everything is all sunshine and rainbows in this world. Not everything is always going to go your way. You have to learn how to pick yourself up. That's why I use the analogy of riding a bike. Sometimes life is like riding that bike. In order for you to learn how to get balanced and truly ride with balance and be, where you need to be on the path you need to go, you need to fall down a couple of times. You need to take off the training wheels. You need to learn how to ride, possibly with a helmet, some protection, but still, you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to fall. You know what I'm saying? He was raised with 8 kids and very blessed. Nothing wrong with that, lunatic dad. Failure comes back with, woo. yeah. You gotta give it a woo sometime, man. Gotta give it a woo. Can you woo? Like I said, it's about learning. It's about growing. It's about being able to prosper through any situation. Praying for strength to deal with it all, Sometimes you need to fail first to learn from that. Exactly. Because if you succeeded all the time, it would seem like you're learning, but sometimes you could just be copying off of somebody else's situation. It's like cheating on the test. If you passed every test, just because you looked over at the other person's answers, doesn't mean you actually learned anything. You just learned how to copy. Sometimes you want to learn, how to fail and correct and self-correct and modestly self-efface and evaluate yourself and stuff like that. Being patient is the key as well. Exactly as they say, patience is a virtue. That comes there too. So it's like, how virtuous do you want to be with that? But it is hard, it is challenging. Believe me, I'm not saying failure is fun. I'm not saying failure is the sexy thing. It's not sexy. It's not sexy to fail. It's not sexy to lose. It's not sexy to go through obstacles and pain and strife and setbacks and all kind of nonsense that comes with things. It's not the sexy thing to do. But life is full of challenges. But I tell you this much, life would be boring without a lot of these challenges and things that we face. It would be, you know. So like I said, it just, yeah, challenges and breakthroughs. Yeah, it's what you make of it, exactly, Lynn. But it's also something that shows you what you're made of. You know, a lot of times when it comes to failures and things that we experience, it shows us what we're made of. Everybody talks a good one. Everybody wants to be, you know, on top. Everybody wants to be appreciated and loved and respected and showered with gifts and accolades. But a lot of people don't want to go through what they need to go through, you know, in order to get it. Some people do let their guard down once they get there, you know, but the question is, can you deal with, you know, being on top and then facing these losses? Or can you go through the losses and the failures? Can you go through the obstacles and the pain to get where you need to go? You know, like I said, people want things. A lot of people want things in this world, but what are you willing to go through to get it? Some people had to go through a lot of loss in order to get to a position where, you know, things are working out and things are okay. Sometimes people had to experience a lot of failure before they actually received the victories, successes, and things like that. And it comes with learning. It comes with learning how to deal with these things, you know what I mean? You know, it depends. Depends on who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go with it. Like I said, these things are significant. Michael Skeen said there's a path to excellence and greatness, and you need to fail first and believe in yourself in order to succeed in life and your career in general. You don't need to fail first. You don't always need to fail first. You can succeed. But I say with success, in order to find true balance, comes learning how to deal with failure as well. You know, because some of the greatest successes in the world on this planet, being in sports, being in life, be it in business, be it in spiritual matters, have learned how to deal with loss, have learned how to deal with failure. You know, I appreciate it, Lunatic Dad. It is really about learning how to find the balance, because the reality is, for all of us in this chat, for anybody watching in the replay, for anybody that has any semblance of this conversation, we all experience loss. We all will experience loss. We all have experienced, you know, ups, you know, successes. You know what I'm saying? You're new here, Maria. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you for coming through. Just talking about why we fail, the balance, the difference between understanding, you know, that, you know, we need the failures as much as we need the successes. They make us, they expose us, you know, they guide us, they transform us, they shape us into who we will become, or who we're not. I tell you one thing about failure. Failure will expose whether or not you're a fraud, whether you're a pretender, or you're somebody that's a contender, somebody that can really face the obstacles. Failures will expose your character. They will expose what you're willing to take and what you won't take. They will expose you. And the thing about failure is that even if you get exposed, it doesn't mean you have to stay there. You can always change. And even though relationships, there's something else out there. Look and learn from that relationship. Exactly, even in failed relationships, those things happen. I think it's in tarot cards. I'm thinking about tarot cards. In tarot cards, one of the most powerful cards is the Fool. And why is the Fool the most powerful? Because at one moment you can be the fool, but then at any other moment you can change. You know. So why do I say that? Sometimes being a fool or being somebody who's failed, if you learn and you see yourself for what you are in that moment, you're in a powerful position. You can change at any moment and become something different. You know, become something more. You know, so when failure happens, you know, sometimes it's a powerful thing. You can stay a loser, you can stay a defeated person, or you can turn around and become a winner. You can turn around and become somebody who's learned from your mistakes. You can become somebody who's dusting yourself off and become better. You know, and then, like they say, there's no more revenge than you know, sweet success. You know, but that's something that may motivate you or not motivate you. Powerful things can work in mysterious ways. Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. There's a force out there that can work in mysterious ways. But also, too, failure works in a mysterious way as well. You know, failure can either, you know, demotivate you, or it can motivate you and inspire you to become back even stronger, to come back even better. Think about it. You know, who wants to fall in the face of their fears, in the face of their peers? and just be a failure. If you fall down and you fail in front of people, who you didn't want to fail in front of, why not be motivated to come back in front of those people and let them know that it hasn't phased you? Sometimes it's not even about them. Yeah, it's kind of crazy out there. Like I said, I know for me, some of my greatest successes have come after some of my greatest failures. When people thought I was down and out, when they thought, Mel would be done, when they thought they would break me, when they thought it was nothing, when they thought I could be nothing, I came back even stronger. I came back even stronger. And then still, when they doubted me even more, when they laughed and they joked in my face and oh my God. Yeah, Len, I appreciate it. Hugs back to you, So I say to you folks out there, man, and women, don't be intimidated by failures. Don't be intimidated by the obstacles. Don't be intimidated by, the faults, the things in the way, just your flaws. Don't be intimidated by it. Learn from it. Learn from it when you fall, Yeah. Don't be intimidated, Look yourself in the mirror. Be honest with yourself. Modestly self-efface. Say to yourself, do I want to stay on this ground, or do I want to get up, and do I want to try again? Sometimes it may take you 100 times before you get it right, but you only need to get it right once to achieve the thing that you're looking for, the thing that you're after, the thing that means something to you. So on that note, I think I'll go. Thanks for listening. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.